Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kohler Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
This is what I have to work with, everyone.
And Shawn Alley.
Like I said, I was just thirsty.
Oh, boy.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone. What's up there, Mr. Large and in Charge?
Well, Jason, as you know, been pretty busy as of late. Had the old lady in the hospital. Got through all of that, and I think we're in good shape at this point. Going to remain cautiously optimistic. Seems like things are going better, but going to be a little bit of a time frame before we, really know that we can guarantee that everything got done and fixed the way it needed to be.
Yeah. So when do you go in for your brain surgery?
I keep asking, but they keep pushing the date back further and further.
She's probably anxious to get you tuned up now too. Yeah.
Well, let's get her fixed first, and then we'll talk about me.
I hear you.
I know you're gonna be right in line behind me, so don't talk too much.
Oh, no, dude. They it's funny. I ran into our old pal, Dr. Grace Sturdivant from Odo Pro Technologies at the U.S. Open. And she wanted to look in my ears because I've got all kind of problems with my left ear. And she put her little scope thing up there, and she's like, I can see the cars in the parking lot. She went through my. So yeah, there's nothing in there to fix, dude. You gotta have something
Grace
in there to fix it, right? So
yeah. That's great.
So speaking of catching up to people, I finally wrestled Mr. Joe Pinchin. Got an interview with him, which we're going to hear here in just a second. And then we're going to be joined by Mr. Shawn Spindel from the Hillendale Club for a little bit of Ohio State preview.
Yeah.
Which, very proud, that shoot has now hit number 2 state shoot in the country, right behind Texas. That's a big accomplishment, to have that many people, that many shooters, and the quality of the shoot that I say we, because Shawn and I are board members, put on up there. So looking forward to that one. And Shawn's got a lot of surprises for us, I think, is what he told us. We'll see what he says when he gets on the phone, Shawn.
Well, they always do a great job, and I'm looking forward to going back up there again and visiting that site. I know that's just a beautiful course to shoot at. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. It's we're talking about beautiful courses. I'm just fresh off the U.S. Open there at Providence in Jackson, Mississippi, and you want to talk about beautiful, Shawn. I mean, it is the Augusta of sporting clays. I mean, it is that level quality. I mean, it was unbelievable how beautiful that place was.
Yeah, I saw some pictures online, and some other people were texting me pictures, saying, "Oh, I wish you were here." Blah 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 blah. Definitely going to put that one on my bucket list to get down there someday. Do that,
dude. If they have another shoot there, you got to go, Shawn. I mean, well, I shouldn't say if, they will. I don't know what they're going to get, whether it be a regional or an open or whatever, but that place is absolutely gorgeous. I mean,
I'll definitely go. It's like I said, I'm putting it on the bucket list, which, as you know, keeps growing and growing.
No, it's not a bucket list, dude. It's a barrel list. We've exceeded we've exceeded 5-gallon status. Okay, we're up to 55 gallons. So
right.
But now, hey, speaking of which, the Dead Pair Kohler gun was there. I'm yelling at Kevin a little bit because he didn't put the grade 3 wood on it. And he's like, well, I just wanted to get it here for, display purposes. I'm like, dude, you're killing me. But a lot of people caught that little short video I did on social media with it. That gun is absolutely gorgeous. I am so jealous of whoever wins that thing. And, it's got our name on it, Shawn, and I'm still jealous.
Yeah.
But yeah, get your tickets. Absolutely. You can find them over on our website, thedeadpair.com. Just go up to the top, click on Kohler Drawing. We've got links all over social media. And then the website, Shawn, is it GiveSmart? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you can go on to Kids and Clays, givesmart.com, I believe it is, and it's like #DeadPair. That'll get you there. I think we've also got some links floating around Facebook and some other places, so it's not hard to find. But definitely the easiest way is just to go to our website, click on the link there, and it'll take you right to it.
Yeah, and any of the shoots that Kohler is going to be at, whether it's a big trap shoot, skeet shoot, or a sporting clays tournament, anywhere that Kohler is going to be, you can go over and see that gun for yourself. Pick it up, look at it. Hopefully they get the grade 3 wood on it by then. But at least you can see the engraving and see what's been done. And you can buy a physical ticket there, or they'll have a countertop display with a QR code. You can scan that and pay for it with your credit card. But somebody's going to be really happy with that one.
No doubt. No doubt.
Shawn Alley, you do have a short tourney talk with some big tournaments to talk about.
Yep, let's get to those.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, everybody. As Jason said, these are two big ones. The 2026 Western Regional at Coyote Springs. That's going to be March 16th through the 22nd. And also the 2026 Northeast Regional at M&M. That's going to be May 12th through the 17th. Both of those are open. As you know, these things fill up super fast, guys. So jump on it, get your registrations made, get those spots reserved, and hopefully we'll see you all there.
Yeah, and sorry for the in-between. And I say the in-between because we've already released part 1 and 2 of the Novice to Masterclass series, and this one's coming in between. Part 3 will be out next week, but we had to get these in there. We, of course, wanted to get Shawn Spindel plenty of time for the Ohio State shoot, and then we've waited forever for Joe Pinchin, so we had to throw him in there. Plus, our guest that's going to be joining us for part 3 was not available at the time that this was going to release, so we had to push it back a week. So bear with us. Part 3 will be out next week. That's the pinnacle. That's AA and Masterclass. So that ought to be good, Shawn. You better get your notepad out. We both better take some notes.
Yeah, I'll definitely have several pages to jot down after that one for sure.
Yeah. And also, this is going to be, speaking of AA Masterclass, obviously it's the biggest debated, hottest topic in the industry, right? So Shawn and I have talked to Michael Hampton. We got his blessing on it. And we're going to have, I know for sure, Neil Chadwick, possibly someone else. We're going to talk about the classification system, some ideas that I've submitted to the NSCA, and we want all of you there, and we want everybody's opinion. We're going to do that on a Scoops episode over on YouTube. Be looking. We're going to announce the date here soon, but we want everybody to come join us. And the NSCA, we are actually going to take that entire episode and give it to the NSCA so that they can evaluate it. Everybody's opinions, ideas, they want to hear them. They want to know everybody's ideas and thoughts on how to fix the Masterclass debacle. So they've been doing a really good job. Credit to Mark Baltazar and the entire EC that's worked really hard on the downclassing. But they understand there's still more to go, and they're anxious to hear everybody's ideas. So please join us for that episode. Forgive me, we don't have the date yet, but I wanted to give everybody a heads up that it's coming.
Yeah. And last but not least, guys, if you want to support the show, remember, we've got that 10% discount both for Taconic Distillery and RE Ranger. So if you need to get yourself some wonderful brown liquor in a bottle, Taconic's the place to go. And if you need some shooting glasses, Ranger, go visit those guys. They got some of the best. And that code is DEADPAIR10, all one word, DEADPAIR10, DEADPAIR10. That'll get you 10% off any orders, again, through both Taconic Distillery and RE Ranger.
Hey, speaking of Taconic, real quick on that, they have now got a pre-made old-fashioned.
Yes.
You can order in the bottle, and I'm going to tell you what, it's my new favorite.
I got to get that next go around because they had that at the Dead Pear Blast last year that we tried for the first time, and that was awesome.
Yes. And everybody, by the way, everybody's been asking me about the Dead Pear Blast. Bear with us. We did find a venue. Unfortunately, trappers are outrageously expensive. Trying to find an alternative, a way to fix that. Don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off this year or not, but we're trying everything we can. If we cannot, we will draw the Dead Pear Kohler gun. We'll do it live on an episode of Scoops, but hopefully we can get it pulled off by the end of the year. I'll let everybody know. Shawn and I we're going to keep working on it best we can. Absolutely. But anyway, back to my point. That old-fashioned pre-mixed is the bomb. That's my new favorite, and they make it with their maple bourbon. Yep. And it's already got the bitters and everything in it. It's just, trust me, if you're over 21 and you can enjoy it, you need to get you some of that.
Yep. Throw it over some ice and have a great time.
Absolutely. Well, hey, listen, let's get to Shawn Spindel. He's waiting on us. And then afterwards, we'll go right into the interview that I got with Joe Pinchin at the U.S. Open.
The Dead Pear.
All right. Joining us from the beautiful Hillendale Sportsman's Club up in, is it Medina? Yeah, it's Medina, Ohio. Mr. Shawn Spindel, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great, Shawn. We've had you on here before a couple of years back when you guys hosted a previous Ohio State shoot. I'm sure there's been a lot of changes, a lot of updates, and I'm sure you guys are excited to do this all over again.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be another great event, and looking forward to seeing some new faces along with plenty of old faces, and having a great shoot.
Shawn, it's not funny, but it's ironic that, the three of us are all on the board, the Ohio State Sporting Clays Association. And in the last few years, we've put so much into this shoot, and, payouts have really increased, and the amount of prizes and things we give away. You've always been either an ex-aficionado or actually the host, as you are this year, and you've been at all the board meetings. What's your take on how the Ohio State shoot has grown and the direction that the board is taking it?
Wow, it's been a neat to see it grow. I remember when we had 250 or maybe 300 shooters, and now we're pushing on 600, and that was it's been over the last 10 years. It hasn't been a very long period of time, and I think the commitment of the board members, doing all the little things that need to be done to make sure that everybody's having a great experience. That's what's made this event, I think, what it is today. Obviously, we've got some great clubs, great target setters, nice amenities everywhere we go. And, it's been the last 2 or 3 years at 2 or 3 clubs, but we've got 4 or 5 clubs in the state that are doing everything right. They may not be able to hold the shoot of this magnitude, but they're helping to grow the sport and bring in the shooters, even if they may not be participating at their club during one of these state shoots. It's really neat to see the growth in the state all around.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, I don't know if you realize this or not, Shawn. Shawn and Shawn. But Texas is number 1 right now on state shoots as far as size goes. Now, they've got New Jersey as number 2, but I think you can kind of put an asterisk next to that because it's the North American FITASC and their state shoot combined. But for all-out state shoot, Ohio State technically is holding the number 2 spot right now, which is a first for us. We've never had that. We've been 3 for a lot of years, but we've never had number 2. What do you think, Shawn Alley? We've talked a lot about this in board meetings and stuff and trying to accomplish that number 2 spot. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I mean, we all know Texas is a big state, a big shooting state. A lot of people down there love to bust their clays. And it seems like we've been nipping on the heels of Georgia for the last several years, and that's been one of our goals, is to try to get to where they are at. So it's really nice to see the numbers have come up. I mean, we've had steady growth over the last few years, like Shawn mentioned. And I think that we get a lot of compliments from people, not only in our own state, but from people that come from out of state, from Michigan and Pennsylvania and other parts of the country. And one of the nicest comments, Malcolm Parker and Melanie Parker were up a couple of years ago and just really enjoyed themselves. So that spoke a lot to it. So it feels good to do something right. It feels good to get compliments from people. And I think that it's only going to get bigger and better as time goes on.
Well, Shawn Spindel, what do you think, buddy? We finally did it, and it's going to be at your club this year.
Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. It is a lot of work. My daily routine changes when we do the shoot. I probably spend, probably an hour and a half, portions of the day, of course, not all at once, but just on this event, just making sure that we've got our vendors lined up, our target setters coming in, and, lots of little details. But, when everybody comes out and they have a blast and those compliments come in and, they appreciate what's been done and how we handle the shoot, I think that's what makes it so rewarding. It's neat to see everybody having a great time breaking targets and playing with their buddies.
Yeah.
Well, Shawn, we've had you on before. And again, we've talked about Hillendale a little bit. I mean, it's a great club. You guys have been around since what, like the 50s, was it? I think
1954. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have been around a while. And for anybody that's never been to the club, it's a gorgeous, northern state club. Lots of trees, lots of terrain. I think they do a wonderful job setting targets. So it's always one of my favorite places to go shoot. You guys do such a great job, even with your monthly shoots and specialty shoots. Always nice to come up there and visit. But this
scenic,
shoot,
very
what's
scenic,
that, Jay?
very scenic and very pretty.
Yes, very scenic, very pretty. And you guys do a lot of hunting on the property as well as the clay sporting shoots, right? You guys have like deer hunts and bird hunts and stuff like that.
No deer hunting, but we do quite a few pheasant, chucker, Hungarian partridge. Do some tower shoots as well. Yep.
Gotcha. Well, and that's the nice thing about it. It's just such a quaint club that, I mean, it's really not quaint. It's a big club, but it just has that old school vibe to it. And as you keep growing, I mean, the state shoot, like Jason said, it's really big, and it's really amazing to see that we've gotten into the second place spot for right now. Hopefully we can hold on to that as the year continues. But one of the things he mentioned was payouts. We've definitely grown the payout. We've definitely got it up there to where it's a noticeable figure. Can you go run down through the payouts just real quick, just to remind our listeners what we're looking at this year?
Yeah, definitely. The guaranteed purse in the main event, I think, is still right at 30 grand. Again, that's guaranteed, not including options and other things. All of the events, all the 100 target events are going to have $15 back to class. All the 50 target events will have $10 back to class. So, in past shoots of this, having it that kind of a breakdown, I think we've been, knocking at or just over 100 grand with this many shooters. So, obviously prices have continued to go up a little bit, but there's a lot of money that is going straight back to the shooters, and I think that's part of the allure to this shoot. Along with the payouts, there's a lot of giveaways that we have that are nice giveaways that people can go home with, something that they're proud to take home, and it's worth some value to them.
Right.
Well, Shawn, the date of the Ohio State shoot's July 31st through August the 3rd. Before we get into all the other nitty-gritty details, is there anything new? And the reason why I'm asking that is the last time you hosted the state shoot there, you opened up some new ground. We got to see some more areas of the property that us target shooters don't normally get to see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there are a couple new events that we added in. The super sporting that we've had in the past has been 50 or 60 targets. This year will be 100 targets, and it will be on a new footprint of a course that's never been shot on before. A few of them might be familiar, of course, but most of them are going to be brand new. So we're really excited to open up that. It's got some valleys. It shoots over an old fish hatchery. It's in some big pine trees. It sort of represents, the pine trees you might see down in Georgia is what it reminds me of. But it's going to be a neat place to shoot the super sport in. Looking forward to that part of it. And then also on the sub-gauge course, we will add two events, a 12-gauge event and a true pair event, and extend. In the past, that course has only been open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll have it open all 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. So plenty of opportunity to play on that 50 target footprint throughout the whole weekend.
Very, very cool. So speaking of events, we have the normal gamut, right? We have a 2-day main, prelim, super sporting, fee task, and then of course all the sub-gauge fee tasks, the sub-gauge events. The super sporting, you said this year is up to 100 bird. And then of course you've added a true pair challenge, which I think is awesome. I will be signing up for that if there's still room. Am I missing anything on the events?
I think you got it covered. I think there's 14 total events. I think we're maybe 1,000 targets registered overall. So plenty of opportunities there.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for people to shoot the whole time they're there. And then of course we're going to be doing the make or break again, and the show of guns, I think we labeled it as last year. So legal terminology there, Mr. Alley. You're supposed to be nodding your head yes or no. You're supposed to be
I'm just keeping my mouth shut. Let you go.
Supposed to be my attorney here. So, but yeah, we're doing the show of guns on the make or break again. That was a lot of fun last year. Bringing the auctioneer back for that. Tons of giveaways, Shawn. I mean, we could probably wrap up an episode you talking about all the giveaways we have this year, but there are going to be some guns given away this year, right?
Yeah, Beretta's stepped up. We've got 694. There's a local gun shop that's donated a pistol or two. We're still waiting to hear back on a few other sponsorships, so I don't know what other guns we have at this point that are in hand, but I'm sure there'll be some others. There's also, I believe, we've got a UTV being raffled off. That's part of the board's one of the raffles that the board put together earlier this year. So lots of big ticket items that will be out there.
Yeah, Shawn Alley, you want to tell them about that UTV? Because there's tickets available now. They don't have to wait.
Yeah, tickets are available now. We've got them distributed at all the local Ohio clubs. So if you're a shooter in Ohio, you can definitely go to the clubs and buy tickets there. We should have counter displays on most of the clubs around Ohio. In addition to that, all the board members have tickets, so you can hit one of us up, send us an email, or call us if you know us. And also, you can call, Shawn, they can probably call the club too, right, if they needed to, and buy them from you guys directly.
Yeah.
So that's another option. That's a nice UTV. Last year we gave away a golf cart. This year it's a UTV, 4-wheel drive, fully enclosed cab, dump bed, got a winch on it. It's a nice little unit, and it comes with a trailer too, I believe.
I believe so, yeah. And you can even get your tickets on Sport Chaser on the event registration. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, you guys did put that on there. Great.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And for those wondering, you do not need to be present to win. So if you're out of state, if you unfortunately can't make it, which we want to see your smiling face there, but if you can't make it, you can still buy a ticket online and purchase one that way.
Aside from all that fun stuff, the other good thing about the Ohio State Shoot, and the one that we hear about all the time that people love, is the after shoot activities. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff lined up. Of course, the big dinner on Saturday night, and then I believe you guys are still doing like a cocktail hour and hors d'oeuvres on Friday night. Is that right, Shawn?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. I was just on the phone with one of the local breweries this morning, lining up some libations for us all, and it should be a great event. That's a big part of the shoot anymore. I think if I have the numbers right, I want to say maybe we had 300 plus people on Friday night last year at Cardinal, and I believe over 500 people were served on Saturday night. So those are the numbers we're looking at, and we'll plan to have plenty of food and drink for everybody for both nights. So
don't come and just think you're going to duck out. You definitely want to hang around and shoot the breeze and meet everybody and see what's going on, because it's always a great time.
Yep, for sure. And then, of course, us two meatheads will be there unaccounted for. Shawn and I are biased about, Shawn, Allie and I are biased about this. We've talked a lot about this shoot on this podcast, and it's for good reason. I mean, we're proud of it, and the clubs in Ohio are phenomenal. I don't care if it's the Cardinal Center, or this year it's at Hillendale. Hopefully we're talking Airport Ridge into coming on here in a couple years. But these clubs are just amazing clubs. I mean, look, I've been all around the country shooting, and they're some of the best clubs in the country. They really are. So, and we take a lot of pride in our state shoot because we do everything we can for the shooter's experience. And I know that from a board level. Shawn, let's talk about some boring stuff here for a second. We have to, because people that are making a decision to come, they need to know what airport to get to and where their hotels are at and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, we're in Medina, Ohio, which is about a half hour outside of either Akron, Canton, or Cleveland. So you can fly into Cleveland Airport or Akron Airport. They're both within a half hour of the club. Real easy to get to. We're right off the highway. And there are hundreds of hotels and restaurants, either in Medina, Akron, north or south of us. You can find a place to eat very easily. Interestingly enough, that weekend is also the NFL Hall of Fame weekend. So if you're looking for something else to do while you're here, if your family is not going to watch you shoot the whole weekend, maybe they could participate there. It's also the Medina County Fair going on. So there's other activities outside of what we're going to be doing locally that would be a good place to go and entertain the rest of the family while you're not shooting.
Now, for those that like to camp, Shawn, do you guys have any facilities there on the grounds, or is there any local facilities they could visit if they want to bring a camper along?
So we welcome campers on the property. We do not have any hookups, so it'd be dry camping. We do have plenty of places to park, and mostly grassed areas. So as far as campers go, we don't have big concrete pads for the most part. There's a few here and there, but it's probably going to be grass parking and plenty of that. So, and that's what's, one of our biggest concerns is making sure we have enough parking. So we've got a couple hunting areas that we'll be making in the parking areas, and maybe even some overflow onto properties outside the club grounds, and having access to take carts back into the property. So we're trying to figure out how we can accommodate, more than the 500, 600 people that may be here. And I think we got a good plan in place for that.
Gotcha. Well, okay. Are we missing anything? We've gone over the raffles and the prizes. We've gone over the accommodations. We've gone over the airport. We've gone over camping, lodging, hotel. We've gone over all the events. What are we missing, Shawn? Anything left out that we need to mention?
Well, a couple things. Beretta has stepped up, and they're going to make a special prize package for the high all around. We're not 100% sure on what all that's going to be, but it may be a gun, it may be a lot of Beretta gear here and there. But we want to try and start a new tradition to add to the other components to the shoot. So the high all around, the plan is to include the main event, the prelim, super sporting, and 5 stands. So 450 targets. And so it's a good chunk of the event, but the high shooter will have dibs on that prize package there. And actually, no, I think there'll be a high overall main prize, and then there may be some random prizes for people that participate in that as well, I believe. So along with that, our target setters will be out. We've got Bill McGuire coming, so very excited to see what he can do with our property and terrain, and how he can twist these targets up for everybody and, make it really nice. Also, Ethan and Cy will be up from Shotgun Gear. We'll have plenty of extra traps that they're bringing in. Ed, of course, with Make a Break will be here. So we're bringing in well over 100 traps. We've already got 150 on the property. So there'll be plenty of targets flying all throughout.
Very cool. Shawn Alley, are you ready for this state shoot? I'm wound up, man.
Well, I got to get out and practice, my friend. I've been a little negligent here lately, so I need to find time to get out there. And once I get the wifey stuff taken care of, I'll be out there hitting the course hard and trying to get my chops licked back up.
It's not going to do you any good. I'm still going to beat you.
That's all right. That's all right. But you know what? I'll still be a thorn in your side. That's a promise.
Yeah, right. So there you go, Shawn Spindel. We got us a little side bet going now. Highest score overall in the main. We're Shawn and I are gonna get after it. So
all right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the wager is yet.
Yeah. What's at stake here? What's at stake? Come on now.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say it's like whoever wins the title, that and $1.50 will get you a cup of coffee somewhere.
Oh geez. Well, Shawn Spindel, we missed anything? We covered a lot here on this shoot.
I think we've got most of the details. Hopefully we'll have most of the program in place. Most of our sponsors are, hopefully on board in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when this will air, but I'm hoping that the program will be on our website, the club website, as well as OSCA's website. So if anybody has questions about, some of the details of the shoot, if you look at hillandaleClub.com, and I believe ohclays.com is the board's website. We should have all the information on board in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, one other thing, we did get the NSCA grant state shoot grant. So we got $2,000 that will be going back towards making this shoot better. I believe there may be some random prize money that's put towards the super sporting to try and increase participation there. So if I were a shooter, that would be one of the first things I'm going to sign up for is the super sporting, because we're going to make that as nice and as possible. Fresh ground,
I just did think of one thing, Shawn. What about golf carts? You guys going to have golf carts?
Yeah, we've got 30 carts already here, and we've got another I think 45 or 60 coming. So we should have plenty. I believe we have 70 that should be available for rent.
Okay. And can they reserve that on Score Chaser?
Yep. It's all on Score Chaser.
Shawn, I'm excited. I'm ready. Let's go do it now.
It's coming. It'll be here sooner than you think. And then we'll all be like, oh boy, I should have shot better. I should have trained more. I should have practiced. The usual excuses,
That's every tournament we go to, dude. Why change now? I mean, Come on. Let's not twist the narrative here. So,
well, I'll be interested to see if who any big name shooters are going to come out. I know that we've had Wendell Cherry there in the past, and Bill McGuire, and Chad always comes. He enjoys the Ohio State shoot, so it'll be interesting to see if some of the big names come out and take it on. I think it'll be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, Mr. Spindel, we appreciate you, sir, very much, and thank you for spending some time with us. We know how busy you are getting ready for the shoot, and we can't wait to be there. Can't wait to see all your hard work.
well, can't wait to have everybody here and see you guys. And, it's going to be a good time. So we're all going to have a good time breaking some targets and hopefully more than we miss, right?
That's right. Yeah. Always. Thank you, Shawn. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey everyone, each and every week you hear Shawn and I brag about our sponsors, and it's not because they sponsor the show, it's because of their products and the unmatched customer support behind each and every single one of those products. We hope you're taking the time to investigate for yourself, try the products out, and see why we love them so much. Hey Toby Tomplay, you want to remind everyone who we're talking about?
I'd love to, Jason. Kohler Arms, America's competition shotgun. Fiocchi USA. Here at the Dead Pair, we're fueled by Fiocchi. Ranger Performance Eyewear. See it further, see it faster, see it clearer with Ranger. Atlas Traps, America's finest clay target equipment. Rhino Chokes. For deadly patterns and knockdown power, choose Rhino. Long Range, the industry standard for trap release and target management systems. Taconic Distillery. After the tournament is over, it's time for one more shot with Taconic Distillery. Score Chaser, your shoots simplified. Clay Range Design Works, your one-stop shop for all your clay target needs. And now, back to the show.
All right, everyone, for the second time, I have caught up with the elusive Joe Pinchin. What's up, Joe?
What's going on, Jason? How we doing?
Good. Well, just so everybody knows, when I say second time, we had to re-record this. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Grace Sturdivant for letting us invade her Auto Pro tent at the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, the recording we had was so windy you couldn't hear it, so we're forced to find a shady spot and redo this. So, but seriously, thank you to Dr. Grace. Joe, let's start with the U.S. Open. You know, what's your thoughts? I mean, that was my first trip to Providence. That place was gorgeous, wasn't it?
Oh, it's an incredible piece of property. And I thought they did a really good job. And, I mean, with 1,400, 1,500 people, whatever the final number was, that can be a nightmare logistically. I mean, just so many little things, right? Just even outside of courses. And all in all, I thought they did a really good job. And it was a great event.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the place, I call it like the Augusta of sporting clays. I mean, the place is just scenic wise, it's just gorgeous. But I thought, like, as far as like the targets and stuff were concerned and the layout of the courses, I thought they really did a good job utilizing the terrain, don't you think?
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, because how many places a year do you go to and you get to shoot on terrain like that?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places. So it's an interesting battle when you get there, and it's like there's really not a whole lot of places. I mean, even just regions in the country that have terrain that caters to Providence. So it was a unique shooting experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, Jamie Peckham's one that set the FITAS targets. They were just incredibly good. I mean, they were, I never had so much fun missing targets, but they were great targets. Now, Joe, you were not on the pro squad, but you used to be on the pro squad, right?
Correct.
So is that the goal for this year, to get back on the pro squad?
Yes, it's not my main goal. I feel like I'm working some stuff out with my game right now. And although, I would like to get back on it, it's not at the forefront, but I look forward to being back on it. So
let me see if I'm reading this correctly. What you're telling me is if you meet your goals, you're going to end up back on it. Your goals in shooting will put you back on it, is what I'm saying.
I'd like to think so. Yeah. I'm starting to work hard at it and get back into it in full swing. So I'm hopeful that I'll get back on it. And, I try not to get too immersed in results when I'm going through like a phase of learning, but I really try to get, immersed in the process and fully involve myself in the process to get to where I want to be. So I didn't mean to say that and sound like, oh, if I do what I'm doing, like I'll get on there, no brainer. It's more so like I'm really focusing on just bringing things back to basics and focusing on what I need to do opposed to where I want to be.
Yeah. Well, before I ask you too much more about the U.S. Open, for those that don't know who you are, Joe, let's go back. Let's get in the way back wagon here. Tell everybody where you're from and how you started shooting.
Absolutely. So, originally, my family and I are from Jamaica. Grew up in South Florida my whole life, and then got involved with the Young Guns of SCTP program, and that's kind of where my shooting and my love for shooting really started. And then started shooting the NSCA stuff. Got more involved on that side. Went to college at Florida State in Tallahassee, Florida. And then after I graduated, was doing some hotel management. And that's kind of where my career path was centered. But I always knew that I wanted to keep shooting around. So thankfully now I'm at Covey Rise and I get to kind of blend hospitality and my love for shooting.
That is very cool. So let me ask you this. At what point, I mean, you said you started shooting for SCTP. At what point did it get to the point where, okay, Dad, I've got to get a coach? You know what I mean? And who was it that you went to?
Yeah, no. So that's a great question. I think when you're growing up shooting, I really do believe that young kids just have a real knack for learning and can learn a lot through trial and error alone. But I think there comes a point when you're starting to when you punch up a few classes and now you can just score. But I feel like you might hit that plateau. It's like, okay, I can score at my local shoots. I can score at some, charity shoots and shoot really well. But when you start seeing stuff you've never seen before and really start traveling, I feel like that's the eye-opening experience where you kind of realize that there's some guidance that's needed. And that age for me was probably around 13, 14.
Okay.
And I'm lucky to have some good shooting influences growing up. Had some lessons with Mike Luongo. He taught me a bunch when I was younger. A few lessons with Wendell Cherry and a bunch of other guys that have helped kind of shaped into my own style. And have incorporated a lot from a lot of really good shooters.
Well, Joe, it's funny because I shot with my dad. Shawn and I both did back in the mid 90s. And when we came back to the game and Shawn and I started taking tournaments more seriously and started progressing, I went back to Dad and I'm like, help me out here. I'm struggling with this. He goes, Jason, he said, I can tell you where you missed. I could stand behind you and tell you. He goes, but a coach is going to tell you why you missed. He's like, you need to go to a coach, So everybody hits that point when they break away from Dad and, and kind of go out on their own for a coach. And I just, that was my point of asking is I find it interesting because for everybody that journey is a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, you talk to some guys and they're like, well, I've never had a coach and they've made it to a certain level. And it's like, wow, that's impressive. But I think having a coach expedites that process, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So no, I completely agree.
So you shot an SCTP, and if my memory serves me correct, Joe, you accomplished quite a bit, or at least you did very well in SCTP, right?
Yeah, I was very lucky to be on a good team of shooters who all kind of at a really young age realized they had a passion up for it. Many still shooting to this day. So, and the parents that were involved in the program, incredible. I have nothing but good experiences from the Young Guns of Quail Creek days.
So now that was the same team that Joe was on, right? Or am I wrong?
Yes. No, okay. You're correct.
Okay. Well, there you go. You were squatted with a national champion. So, teamed with a national champion. But no collegiate though, right? Like after SCTP was over, you didn't go to a collegiate team.
No. I went to Florida State. Wasn't on the collegiate team there, but shout out to Florida State. They're doing some amazing things with the team and they're doing really good right now. And I'm really excited to see that. But no, my first year of college, it was a bit of a balance. I almost pretty much stopped shooting completely, which I didn't think I'd ever do. But, priorities get in the way. You're starting to buckle down on classes and you don't really know how to gauge or balance what that looks like. So I stopped shooting pretty much my whole freshman year. COVID came and then I got back into it full blast because I needed something to do.
Okay. So you're one of the few that kind of went from SCTP right to NSCA. And we've never asked this to anybody before, but I'm going to ask you. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, Joe. What's your thoughts on the kids that move from the NSCA or from the SCTP to the NSCA? Do you think we're doing a good job, or do you think we need to do a better job to try and make it more inviting for those kids to come out and shoot some NSCA tournaments?
Yeah. Really good question. I think we're doing a good job as of right now, but I think that, the more the NSCA grows and the more the sport grows, that's naturally where that trajectory is headed, right? So a lot of the kids on our SCTP team were involved with SCTP and NSCA simultaneously.
Yeah. But some of them, just for whatever reason, they don't stick with the NSCA. Like, we see them for a little bit and then they kind of go away. You know what I mean? Now, naturally, a lot of them do that, right out of college. They kind of work and pay for college and all that stuff. But, we see a lot of like flashes in the pan, if you will, from SCTP in the NSCA, and then we don't see them anymore. And I was just wondering if you thought there was any kind of because you went through that program. And I'm just wondering if you thought there was any kind of a disconnect, that maybe we could do something to try and improve that a little bit.
Yeah, and while I can't necessarily pinpoint one direct disconnect, I will say companies getting involved into youth sports is probably the biggest thing that's going to help that, right? The sport is very expensive. While it is great, to get the youth involvement and keep them going through the sport, any, programs, funding towards youth sports, and efforts towards youth sports will help them keep through in the sport longer. And I think that would be huge. And a lot of companies are definitely starting to do that, which is awesome.
Yeah. I've seen that here as of late. I know what you're talking about. So moving back to you, you're coaching now at Covey Rise. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And one of the things I see from you quite often is I see your weekly tips that you put out on social media. Have you had a big response from that? Does that help you with your coaching? Like, people coming to you and go, "Hey man, you kind of piqued my interest there. Teach me a little more."
Yeah. I'll tell you, it really just started as something, fun for, for us to make at Covey Rise. And if anybody watches it, or if anybody got a little insight to it, it's a success, right? So I have had multiple people come up to me and kind of ask me more questions, or just tell me that they enjoy them, and that's pretty cool experience, because again, we made them in mind to help people, and even for me to just think about some things that what would people know. But it's pretty cool when somebody appreciates the efforts to help or to teach somebody something, because I appreciate that more than anything. As long as I've been doing this, when somebody shares something with me, no matter how small it seems.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Speaking of that, let me. I know I'm bouncing back and forth here, Joe. But
no, you're
bear
good.
with me. But speaking of that, so on the U.S. Open, what did you learn about yourself or about your shooting from your performance at the U.S. Open? Was there something there that you picked up on? It's like, man, I got to work on this, or man, I didn't realize I was doing that, or was there anything about Joe Pinchin and his shooting at U.S. Open that you learned a little something?
Yeah, absolutely. So, gone through some changes with my fit, and I'm glad to have shot at the U.S. Open at the time I did, because with this bit of a different fit comes some changes in sight picture on some targets. The most drastic changes that I've seen on that sight picture are a lot of rolling dome transitioning targets under my feet, with small room for error on the line. So I definitely noticed that I need to work on those targets, completely be comfortable with letting that target get closer to my barrel.
Yeah.
And the main reason is because I have a tendency, if a target will crowd my gun, basically too close of a relationship makes me panic a little bit in the last 5% of my shot. And then I'll rely on hands and not body and push. And with a target under your feet, with a finite lead, you push, you're toast. So that was the biggest thing I learned, and I'm working on currently right now.
And I'm going to take it, just so those that weren't at the U.S. Open understand, I'm going to take it that station, I don't remember the station number, but it was on the Beretta course. You're shooting 50, 60, 70 feet below your feet. Am I right, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Had the incomer and then the rolling bat too. And it was all like you're pointing down. And we don't, in Florida, especially where it's all flat, you don't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that had to be the station that you're referring to, or at least the target you're referring to.
No, I actually ran that station, but similar targets to that. I mean, so like, yes, so targets like that, but they both had enough dome later in the path where I got the visual I wanted to see, and it didn't necessarily make me uncomfortable to the point where I'd push my gun. But something with like, say like a really, really minimal lead, flat line, or even, just entering transition off of a true pair specifically, those were the targets, and there's a bunch of those like that. And I have gotten better at them, but I have a lot of room for improvement on that kind of shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, I don't see that kind of target very often. And I got a little, me and heights don't get along.
I hear you.
When that incomer started coming in, that panic like you're talking about in the last 20 yards of the shot, you're like, oh boy, I got to go now or I'm going to fall out. So, but yeah, it was, that was a pressure cooker for me. I actually did pretty decent there, but I surprised myself. Let's move on to something fun, Joe. I want to know what's your favorite shoot on the circuit and why. Now, one little quick tidbit here. Because Covey Rise is your home club, you can't pick one from there. So you got to pick a different one. well, we'll let you pick that one but as a second. But I want to know what your favorite shoot on the circuit is, other than Covey Rise.
I'll tell you, I love the NSCA tour stops. Have a great time at all of them. It's good that there's on a rotation. We get to see these different clubs and some even new emerging clubs year after year. But one shoot that I have been enjoying a whole lot, and just because it's at a special place that I hold near to me, throughout my shooting career, is the Jack Links. I shot a lot there growing up. That's been a really fun shoot to go to, and I love that place. And I grew up shooting there a lot, so I definitely have to say the Jack Links.
Okay, all right. And then, so which one of the Covey Rise shoots is your favorite? Because I know you're on the edge of your seat. You're wanting to pick something from Covey Rise. So.
No, it would be the 2025 South Central Regional that we have coming up this year.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. We'll have some lunch while I'm out there.
Absolutely.
What about goals for this year, Joe? What kind of goals do you have if you don't mind sharing them with everybody? What kind of goals do you have in mind for 2025?
No, not at all. Really, I mean, we talked about, kind of me involving myself in the process. My goal is to, get out and shoot 4 to 5 days a week, and holding myself accountable to that practice schedule. That's a major goal of mine. I want to get back, as you mentioned earlier, on the pro squad, and I'd like to make Team USA for the sporting and PTASC. As it stands right now, those goals are hard goals to achieve, but we'll put in the work and really just, my biggest thing is to just immerse myself, stay present, and focus on me, right? My game, and executing. But I think to really execute, there's got to be a root in the base, and the root in the base is just confident, committed, detailed practice. And then I believe certain things will follow. Not sure what they are, but they'll follow as you go along.
Yeah. Well, those are very commendable goals, for sure. 100%. One quick question before we get to rapid fire, because you've snuck away from us here for the last year and a half, chasing you down on the podcast.
Stop.
So we're definitely going to do a rapid fire with you. But before we get to that, we have a lot of new shooters that listen to this program. And if you could offer one piece of advice for a new shooter to carry with him, what would it be?
That's a good question. I would say the main thing being, don't lose the joy in it. And when I say that, I don't I'm not saying that to be like, it's acceptable to shoot bad or, just like taking you away from your goals and wanting to be hungry to win and be hungry to do well. But at the end of the day, you started this and you're doing it because you love it. So while you're trying to attain your goals and while you're pushing for those things, don't forget that love that brought you to the game. Because if you lose that midway through, it seems like a chore and you're never going to give it your full effort.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not loving it throughout the journey, then it's not worth the journey. So I agree. That is very well said, Joe.
And it's tough because you're doing these things and you're putting all this effort into it. But the older I've gotten, and I know this is going to sound corny, but I've loved to embrace the learning points, right?
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but the most you learn is when you're doing your worst. When you're doing your best, you're on autopilot. Everything's clicking. You don't think about it. All those learning moments come from your worst shooting moments, right? So value those moments because you will look back on them eventually and be appreciative of them.
Yeah. And that's where you have to really kind of take that hard look in the mirror, right? I mean, because a lot of times we want to try and blame something on, and when we're shooting bad, right? Whether it's whatever, wrong chokes, wrong glasses, the targets, there's always something we try to blame, but really it's that long, hard look in the mirror. And like you said, learning from your mistakes and learning from what you did wrong. So that's very well said, Joe.
Thank you.
You're light years ahead of your age. So, all right, let's move on to a rapid fire.
Let's do it.
All right, what kind of gun you shoot?
K80 parkour.
32-inch barrels?
32-inch barrels.
Okay.
Regular barrels, not the X.
Oh, okay. All right. Ported?
Rhino porting.
Rhino porting. Excellent. Chokes?
Briley's.
What's your go-to constriction?
I will run typically double light mods or double mods. And I'll throw in a cylinder or a skeet choke if a target is like very, very close. But typically I don't change my chokes that often.
Okay. Custom stock?
Yes, custom stock.
And who's that by?
Greenwood.
Jim Greenwood. All right. We had a listener write in and they asked that we start asking what the point of impact is for you guys, because everybody's different, like 70-30, 60-40. What's your favorite?
Well, this changed not all that long ago. I used to probably be like 90-10.
Oh wow.
I used to shoot, I used to shoot really high intentionally, but now I'm more in that like 65-35 range.
Okay. Not floating targets as much anymore.
No, not quite as much.
Okay. What shells do you use?
B&P Mach 1250 ounce and an eighth, 7.5 shot.
Okay. I take it the same thing, but 1 ounce for FTAS?
Yes, the 1 ounce B&P for FTAS.
7.5 guy, huh? Don't like the eights?
I don't know. I tend to be a creature of habit. I love using 7.5s, especially with a lot of these targets that we see today.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to the eights. I've shot them quite a bit. I shot some this past week, and they do a great job as well. So for no other reason than the 7.5 is just something that I'm comfortable and more used to.
Yeah. Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? What glasses do you use?
Pilas.
And vest?
Vest is my trusty bear pelt.
And you know what? I want to mention that, by the way. The bear pelt vest that you wore at the U.S. Open was so cool. It was a Mardi Gras vest. And I'll tell you what, right now,
vest?
Oh my gosh. That if I lived in Louisiana, I would wear that vest. That thing was cool.
Thank you.
Ear protection.
Ear protection is molded custom plugs.
Okay. And then lastly is what's in your bag. We're looking for that lucky rabbit's foot, maybe something oddball that you carry in your bag that people wouldn't be privy to.
Nothing oddball. Honestly, it's a pretty boring and mundane shooting bag. It's just my glasses, a little bit of grease, an Allen wrench, and then chokes. And that's about it. I'm sorry I don't have much to give you. I'm pretty boring.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We've had some off the wall answers, and we've had some, I don't carry anything in specific. So, but, Joe, do us a favor. If somebody listening to this is down in Louisiana, they want to get with you and get a lesson, how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So you can call Covey Rise and get in touch with the office, or you can follow any of my socials, Pinchin.shooting on Instagram and Joseph Pinchin on Facebook. Reach out to me, and then we can get you sorted out and schedule a time.
Excellent. Well, Joe, this has been great, man. And I'm really looking forward to, if we can ever nail it down, hopefully it won't take another year and a half, but I want to do that joint podcast with you and Austin. I think that would be a hoot. I think that'd be hilarious to let everybody see you two nutbags together on a podcast because it's hilarious when you two are together. So
absolutely.
I still want to put that together, but I'm glad we got this one done. I'm just glad I was able to catch up with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for spending some time with us, man.
No, thank you for having me. I know we've been trying to get this done for a little while, so it's finally nice to catch up with you and actually get it knocked out. Yep,
for sure. Well, thanks again, Joe. Good luck on the rest of your journey this year, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
The Dead Pair.
Well, Jason, I don't know about you, but I tell you what, the Ohio State shoot is something near and dear to my heart. Really proud of that shoot, and again, how it's been growing. And it's great that it's back at another premier club, Hillendale, up there in Medina, Ohio. That is a gorgeous club. Any of you that have shot at Cardinal the last 2 years for our state shoot, totally different venue. A lot more woods, a lot more trees, a lot more terrain, obviously. And Shawn Spindel and his crew always do a great job of just absolutely making a flawless event, and everybody seems to enjoy it when they go up there.
Yeah, and I forget the number. Shawn Spindel's going to strangle me. But I think it's like 23 ponds on the property.
Yeah.
And I mean, these aren't little mud guppy ponds. I mean, these are big ponds.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that place is amazing. It's been around since the 50s, so. Yep. And Mr. Radulovich's home club. That's where he cut his teeth. Mm-hmm. So, but what'd you think of that interview with Joe Pinchin?
Very interesting. It's funny because I know that you and I have an inside joke about trying to track Joe down and get him cornered for an actual interview. I thought he did really well. I think it was a good interview. Very interesting. I think a lot of people get a lot out of that.
Well, credit. I brought her name up earlier in the show, Grace Sturdivant. Credit to her because it was Sunday. Everybody was shutting down and she still had her booth open. And Joe Pinchin walked up and I'm like, park it, dude. We're doing an interview right now.
Yeah, so there you go.
He had no choice. He couldn't escape. Shawn Alley, we've really got a lot in this episode, so I don't want to take too long here on our outro. What's our message to everybody every week?
All right, everybody that listens, you know that it's near and dear to Jason and I's heart. Take somebody new shooting. Get them out there, introduce them to the sport. Take them to a charity event. Just take them to your club. Put a gun in their hand, let them break their first target, and the rest will take care of itself. We say that time and time again, week after week. And that's the big message. I mean, we're only going to make this sport grow if we make it grow, guys. It's not going to grow on its own. So get out there and do your part. Even if you just bring one person a year, that's going to help. That's more than no persons, right? So come on, let's just get it done.
Yeah, and if you got a buddy that shoots recreationally, take him to a tournament, man. Show him how much fun it is to, put a little bit of money on the line and legitimately going up against your buddies, right?
Yeah.
And you meet so many more people when you go to a tournament. I think that's the best thing. Credit to Tommy Browning. There's no strangers in sporting clays, just friends you haven't met yet. And that's where you meet them, really, is tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
But, take them to a tournament. Show them the excitement. Shawn, prayers answered for your wife, my friend. Glad to hear she's doing better and on the mend. Hopefully we can get the straw stuck in your ear and get your brains, sucked out and replaced here soon.
Well, one miracle at a time.
One miracle at a time. Yes. There's no help for me, brother. There's no miracles left.
You gave up, huh?
Yeah. But anyway, super glad to hear that she's doing good. Now you have no excuse, my friend. I want to see you out there busting birds, get some practice in. The Northeast Regional's coming, the Ohio State Shoot's coming, and I can't wait to kick your butt on Make a Break.
Yep, bring it, buddy.
We're going to do it. We're going to film some of it. We're going to have some fun. But anyway, Shawn Alley, until next week, my friend.
Can't wait to see y'all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kohler Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.